Hey, how's it going everybody? In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you all how to make a simple Flask authentication system which will be able to register the user, log in the user, and log out the user. So this is just the demo of what our project is going to look like in the end. So we can register. I'll just register by just picking a username. So I can put please subscribe. For the passcode, I'll just pick a passcode real quick, and if we click register, it'll say account created, redirecting to the login page. And this is the login page. We can put our username, which is please subscribe, and the passcode, which is the one that I just picked. Now if we click login, it'll flash a message saying logged in successfully and welcome, please subscribe, which is my username. If I click log out, it'll take me back to the login page which says logged out successfully. So let's say if I put my username, but if I choose a wrong passcode, let's just put some random stuff here, and if I click login, it'll say error logging in, please try again. So yeah, in this tutorial we'll be learning how to make this. It's really simple. So yeah, so before we actually get into programming the website, I want to first talk about what Flask is. Now Flask is a very lightweight and minimalistic web framework built to make websites. Now Flask has almost everything we need to actually program our authentication system, but it's got a lot more capabilities than just authentication. I'll be linking this in the description below if you want to check it out, but yeah. Alright, so what I've done is I've just opened up a blank folder called Flask Auth Tutorial, which I'll be using for this video. So first let's create a folder called templates, and basically what's gonna be stored in the templates folder is all of our HTML files, which will be rendered. So anytime you have an HTML file that you want to render, you're gonna have to put it in the templates folder. But outside of the templates folder, I'm gonna create a file called main.py, and this is where we're gonna be storing all of our code. Alright, so first let's actually install all of the necessary libraries we're going to need. Now I've got the command to install these libraries in the description based on your operating system, so just copy and paste it into the terminal, and to open the terminal just click on terminal up here and click new terminal. So I'm just gonna paste mine in my terminal and click enter. Now for me, it's not gonna take long because I've already got it installed, but for you it might take some time, so just pause the video until you've got them all installed. Alright, so now let's actually go ahead and set up and configure our app and our database. So I'm gonna write from Flask, which is the framework we're using. We're going to import Flask, render template, URL for request, flash, and redirect. Now basically what this render template does is we can render each one of our HTML templates from our templates folder. Alright, with this one URL for this basically is used for redirecting the request. We use this to get and retrieve requests that our HTML files have sent us, and this flash is basically used to flash messages. So if somebody gets their username or password wrong, we can just put your password is incorrect. That's basically what it does. Let's also do from flask underscore SQL alchemy import SQL Alchemy. This is the database that we're going to be using. So now let's do app is going to be Flask, Flask underscore name underscore. So this basically is starting or setting up our Flask app, and under that let's actually start configuring it. So let's do app.config, and we're going to put brackets, and in there we're going to put SQL alchemy underscore database underscore URI. This is the URI of the database. For this, I would just suggest putting SQLite colon and then 3 slashes and then database.db. This is where we're gonna be storing all of our information, and you'll actually see this appear on our Explorer after we run our app, which is later on. Now let's also configure our secret key. Now, if you're gonna be putting this into production, you wanna store your secret key in an environment variable. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just put it right here in the code. Now, for the secret key, just put something random. Doesn't really matter right now. And then now we can actually start our database. So we can do DB is going to be SQL Alchemy parentheses app. So we're gonna be putting a database for the app. Alright, so now let's actually import all of the other libraries that we're gonna be using. So we're also gonna be using the Flask WTF library. Let's just import this. We're gonna do from Flask underscore WTF import Flask form. And Flask form is what we're gonna use to actually make the form, right? Under that, let's put from Flask underscore login import login manager user mixin login user login required logout user and the current user. So let me explain what this does. User mixin is for our databases. Login user, we're just gonna be running this after like we've checked that the username and the passcodes match, and then we can log in the user. Login required, we're gonna be putting this on our home so the user can't actually go to the home page before they're logged in. Logout user just logs out the user, and the current user gets the current user that's logged in right now. Now, to store our passcodes, we're actually going to be using the workzooc library. Now, storing passcodes just just with text in the database is not best practice because it's not the most secure. So we're gonna have to hash it. And to do that, we're gonna use we're gonna be using the workzooc library. So from workzooc.security import generate password hash and check passcode hash. Now let's do from WT forms import string field, password field, and the submit field. And the string field and the password field, pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be putting our username and our passcodes there. And the submit field just sends a request to our backend. So now let's do from WT forms validators import data required. This just makes sure that we can validate the data that the user put in, so the user can't just put in some random stuff. Alright, so now let's actually configure our login manager. So I'm just gonna write the code and I'm gonna explain what they do. An instance of login manager in our app, and basically what this line does is we're just specifying where we're going to put our login information, so like our login form and everything, and this just initializes the login manager. Alright, so now we can actually go ahead and create our database class for the user. So we can do class user, and we're going to be using the database model, so we can just do db.model comma user mixin. Since this is a user database, we're going to put user mixin, which we got from the Flask login library right here. So every user is going to have their own unique ID, so we can do id is equal to db.column db.integer, since the ID is going to be an integer, and we can put primary we can put primary key is true. What this does is we're going to do like the first user is going to have the user ID of 1, the second one's going to have a user ID of 2. It just keeps order, and every user is also going to have a username, so the username is equal to db.column db.string, and inside these parentheses we specify how long the username can be. So for the tutorial I'll just put 50, but you usually don't want to have it to be that long. And we'll also put unique is true, so no two users can have the same username. And we'll also put nullable is equal to false. What nullable is equal to false means is we can't have this be blank in the database. We're gonna have to have a username. Let's also put a password. For this, we'll just do the same, db.string. But for the password's maximum length, I'll put this as 500 because we're going to be hashing our password and the hashes could get pretty long. And we'll also set the nullable is equal to false. We're not going to put unique is equal to true because, well, many users can have the same passcode. So now let's actually return how we're going to be accessing this whenever we register a user. So to do that, we're going to do we're going to make a function wrapper, and we're going to get the self, which is right here, and we're going to return a f string of id, and this is going to be self.id, the username, which is going to be self.username. Basically, what this does and what this means is whenever we're creating a new account, let's say a user registers and we're creating a new account, when we actually push that new user into the database, we have to use this format right here, and this just helps to keep clarity and to make everything nice and organized. You don't need this, but I do suggest you use it. Alright, so now let's actually go ahead and create the login form class. And this is like where we're gonna put our username and our passcode and our submit button on all of that. So I'll do class login form, and remember when we imported the login the Flask form right here from Flask WTF. This is what we're gonna use. So we're gonna do Flask 1, and in here we're gonna need a username, right? So username is going to be string field username, and we'll do render KW. This is just a way to like render stuff that we would usually in HTML, but we're gonna do it in Python. We're gonna need curly braces, and then here I'm gonna put placeholder colon, and the placeholder for the login, I'll just put enter your username. Now I'll just copy this and paste it right below it, but instead of username, of course, we'll change it to password, and instead of string field, we'll do password field. The main difference between the string field and password field is for the password field, whenever we start typing, it's going to show up as black dots. And we'll change this username to be password, and we'll change the placeholder to be enter your password. And under this, I'll also put a submit button. We'll do submit field, and here we'll just put login. Alright, so this is the login form. Let's actually copy this entire class and paste it below it, and change the login form to be register form, and we'll keep the username the same and the password the same, except we're going to copy and paste the password again, because one of them is gonna be to enter the passcode that the user wants, and the other one is to confirm that they chose the same password. So we'll set the name as password2, and instead of just this being password, we'll just do confirm password. And for the placeholder, we'll just do retype your password, and we'll change the submit login to just be sign up. Alright, so now what we'll do is we will set up a user loader from the login manager that we created up here, and basically this will just load the current user in the database. So we'll use the login manager decorator dot user loader. In order that, we'll make a function, call it load user, and we'll put the user ID from this. and inside of here we'll just return the user dot query dot get the integer of the user ID. Basically, what we're getting is the user ID from our database, and we are loading it right here. All right. So now we can actually start creating our routes. All right. So now we can go on and start creating our routes. So basically, routes are the endpoints that our users can go to. So we can have a route for login, which is for the login page. We can have one for registering, and we can also have one for the home. So before we actually start making our routes, let's actually run our app and start and running our database. So we can do with app.app.context db.createAll. This basically means whenever we run the app, it's going to take all the things in the database and it's going to create it. Now let's run the app. So we can do if underscore underscore name underscore underscore is equal to main underscore underscore. We can do app.run debug is equal to true. Okay. So ideally you don't want to have the debug is equal to true during production because it's not best practice, and this just runs the app. And so yeah, let's create a route for the login page. So to create a route, we need to use the app.route decorator. So we gotta do the at symbol, app.route, parentheses. In that, we can add our first route, which is for slash login. So slash login. And this is how we create a route. Now after that, let's put a comma and let's do methods. So methods, this is just different methods that our route can accept and we can use. So for this, we can do get and we can do post. And under that, we need to create a function. So this is a login page, so I'll just make the login. And under that, we can go ahead and return a render template of login.html. So what is this doing? This is doing we are using a render template, which is what we imported up here, and we are basically rendering our login.html. Oh yeah, by the way, I made a login.html file under my templates. It's blank right now, but yeah. So now let's go ahead and start programming our login.html. So for this, let's just do HTML:5. Click tab, and the structure will show up. For the title, let's just call it login, and in the body, let's just do an h1 tag. Let's do login page. All right. So now let's actually run the app. So up here, there should be a run button. Just click that, and it'll run. It's gonna run on port 5000, and it gives you an error. It says this is a development server, don't use it in production. Yeah, so let's go to localhost 5000. So we can do localhost 5000, and it says not found right now because we are not in our login route, so we need to go to slash login. And as you can see, it says login page. If we were to change this text to say welcome to the login page, if we save it, if we refresh, it says welcome to the login page, and this is inside of and this is in the login route. So now let's actually not just say welcome to the login page. Let's actually load our login form. So to do that, we need to pass this form to our login page. That's pretty simple. All we have to do for that is let's just make a variable called form, and let's set that to the login. The login form. And to pass it to the login page, all we have to do is go to the render template, and let's add something there. Let's do form is equal to form. So now this login.html file has access to this form right here. So now let's actually start rendering all of the form stuff. So I'm gonna go under the h1 tag, and I'm going to add a form. For the action, don't really need that, but I'll set the method is equal to post because we are making a post request, right? And in here, we're not gonna be programming with Jinja, which basically is like how we can code in Python instead of HTML. I'll show y'all how it works. So we add two curly brackets, and in here we do form dot hidden underscore tag. This just gets a form, right? And now under that, uh, we can add a div, and in this div we will put all of our username stuff. So we can do the two curly braces again, and we can do form dot username dot label. This just gets the label of our username, which is right here, this right there. And under that, let's also put two other curly brackets, and let's do form dot username. Now let's just save this, and if we refresh, there we go. It has our username and it's placed to enter our username. Let's do the other one for the passcode. So let's make another div, and in here we'll put two other curly brackets, and we'll put form dot password dot label. And I'll make another one, two curly brackets again, form dot password. We save it and we refresh. That's our password right there. Now let's do another one for the submit button, right? Let's do another div. Let's do form dot submit. Nice. Let's refresh it. As you can see, we have our page. Now, usually, whenever we're authenticating users, we're also gonna want to have a text under here that says, if you don't have an account, you can register. So to that, it's pretty simple. Right under the submit button, we can add a h5 tag. Hold on, whoops. We can add a h5 tag, and we can say, don't have an account, register. Now we're gonna put an a tag, and we'll put register here. And now for the href, this is not going to be /register, which you might think. It's going to be two curly brackets, URL for parentheses, and then register. Now this basically is URL for. This is like another way to go to our different routes, right? Now if we refresh the page, it'll give us an error. It's because we don't have an endpoint or a route for register. So we're going to make one real quick right now. So let's make another route. Let's do app.route /register, comma, methods. Methods is going to be get and post. And we can make a function, register. In there, we will return a render template of register.html. Now we don't have it yet, so let's just create one in our templates. Let's do register. Hold on, did I spell that right? Register.html. Oh, nice. And let's just put a simple HTML structure. For the title, I'll just call this register. Nice. And register. Nice. So if we refresh, we can I spelled it wrong. Whoops. We can register here. And if we click this, it takes us to the register page. We don't have anything here, so let's just go back to our login page. Actually, no. Let's go to our register page, and let's add some stuff in our register.html. In the body, I'll just put an h1 saying, welcome to the register page. And under here, let's add another form and do the same thing. So we'll do method is going to be post. In the form, I'm actually just going to copy and paste all of this right here. But we're going to change this stuff up a little bit also. Let's do, first let's actually change up this. We'll make this say, already have an account, log in here. And instead of doing URL for to the register page, to the login page. Nice. And yeah, we're going to set the username, this to be same, the password's going to be the same, but instead of one password, we're going to have two. And form dot password. Yeah, oh yeah, let's also send in the register form. So we can do form is equal to register form, and let's send that over here. Form is on. Let's see how we're doing this. Yeah. Alright, so now we can go here. We can do form.password2 and form.password2. And now we refresh. There we go. Welcome to the register page. Enter your username, password, retype your password, and we can sign up right here. But if we already have an account, we can go log in here, and we can go register here. Alright, so this is us just making all of the routes for login and log and for registering. Let's make one for the home page actually. So I'm gonna go down here. Oh yeah, first let's make a template for home. Whoops. Let's do home.html. Nice. Let's add a simple structure. Title, we'll just call it home. And h1, welcome to the home page. Nice. And let's make a route. So we'll do app.route route/home. Methods is equal to get home. Methods is equal to get and post. Nice. Now, we can actually add two different routes for just one page. So we can have a route for /home, or we can have a route for just /, because usually whenever you're going to websites, you don't go to let's say twitter.com/home. You just go to twitter.com, right? Because that's just one, because that's two routes, right? So we can add another route. We can do app.route/. That's all. Let's add a methods get, hold on a minute, get and post. Nice. Now let's add a function up here. Now let's add a function def home return render template home.html. Nice. Oh, also, we want to make sure that the user cannot go to the home page before they're authenticated or logged in. So under this app.route decorator, I'm going to add another decorator. I'm going to say login require, which is what we imported right up here. So now, if we try to go to the home page, let's just do /home. There is an error. Hold on a minute. App.route home def home return render template home.html. Hold on. I'm going to see what the error is, and then I'm going to get back with you guys. 1 second. Alright, so all you have to do was just rerun the app. So just click up there, and it should rerun it. Basically, what the error was while I was coding this, what happened was I saved it before I had actually written this. So it reran the app, and it ran this before I had even put anything in here, so it gave me an error. Things happen. So yeah, let's just go to /home and let's see what happens. It takes us to the login page, and if you notice in the URL, it says $next, and we tried to go to the home page, but it didn't let us. Now this is actually because of what we did. Where is that? This is actually because of what we did. Yeah, right here. If we had changed this to be the register page, and if we had tried to go to the home page again, it'll take us to the register page. But we want to keep this to the login because usually somebody will already have an account, right? So if we try to go to home, it should take us to the login page because we're not authenticated yet. Alright, so now we can actually start programming, like logging in the user and registering the user. Alright, so now let's actually start with programming the logic for logging and registering the user. I'm going to do registering first since we don't have any accounts yet. So what we can do is go under form, and we can do if the request.method is equal to post. What this is doing is if we get a request from this page right here, from the register page, and if it's a post request, which it is, so as you can see up there, then we're going to run the code under here. So first let's actually get the username that the user submitted, right? So let's do username is going to be equal to request.form.get username, and this is just gonna get the username that the user submitted. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's also get the password. So the password is going to be the same, request.form.get password. Now, as you know, we've got two password sections. One is for putting the password and one is for confirming it. So let's also do that. Let's do one for the confirm. So we can do password2, which is what we named it, is gonna be equal to request.form.get password2. Oops, password2. All right. So now let's just do some pretty simple checks. Let's check if both of these are equal to each other, because if they're not, then we're gonna have to flash an error, right? So we can do if password is not equal to password2, we will flash an error saying both passwords must be the same. Now we're gonna actually like render the flashes in our HTML later on, but they're not gonna show up right now, but we're gonna render them later on, right? Now let's do another check, right? So let's check if the same username already exists in the database. So else if user dot query, because we're querying the user database, query dot filter underscore by username is going to be username. So we are filtering and we're checking if the username in a database is equal to the same username that we put here dot first, and we're gonna get the first instance of the username that we find. So if this is true, then we can flash saying username already taken, please choose another one. Nice. Also, after the flashes, we want to return it back to the home, or like back to the register page. So we can do return a redirect URL for register. As you can see, we are redirecting to the register, which is right here. And let's just copy this and paste it down here again. But if the user passed both of these checks, we can just put the user in the database. So as you may remember, we can't just store the password that the user chose in the database just as it is, because it's not best practice, because it is not safe. So let's hash the password. So let's take the password that the user chose and let's hash it. So let's make a variable called hashed password is going to be equal to generate password hash for password. Nice, password. This is just hashing this passcode right here. Now let's actually make an instance for the new user. So we can do new underscore user is going to be user parentheses, and remember this this function that we put right here. We need to follow this format right here, right? Also, the reason we didn't put password is because it's not necessary. It's not necessary. So let's do username of the user. Username is going to be username. So the username that we're going to put in the database is going to be username right here. Let's do a comma. Let's do the password that we're going to store in the database. It's not going to be this password. It's going to be the hash password. Hash password. Nice. So now let's actually add this new user into our database. So we can do db.session.add new user. Now let's commit this. So we can do db.session.commit. Now let's flash saying user created, redirecting to the login page now. So yeah, after we make the user, we can redirect to the login page where they can log in. Now let's return a redirect to URL for login. Nice. Now let's actually program our flashes so they can actually show up. So to do that, right under the H1 and before the form, let's do with with messages is going to be equal to get flashed messages. Hold on, whoops. Get flash messages. Also, we need the percent sign whenever we're doing Python programming. We don't need a percent sign whenever we're getting like data and variables. So yeah. Now let's under this let's do if messages. So if there are messages under here, we can make a div, and in here we can add a for loop. So we can do for message and messages. That we can put the message up. We can make a div, and we can put a message right here. Now under the div, let's actually close the end for, saying that we are stopping the for loop right here. And under this div, let's just end the with and the if. So let's do end if and end with. We save this. There we go. Now let's actually go ahead and copy and paste our flashing thing to our login also, because the logic is the same. So so this registering thing should work. Let's try it out. Let's refresh the page, and that's not good. Okay, never mind. For the username, let's just put a name. For the passcode, just choose a passcode. And if we click sign up, it redirected us to the login page, and it said user created redirecting to the login page now the user can actually log into our page. Now let's actually set up the login systems. Alright, so now let's actually start programming our login page features. Now this for the login page, we're basically going to be checking if the user actually exists in the database and if the password matches the user. So let's do the same. Let's do if request.method is equal to post, because it is a post request we're sending over here. Right there. So if the request.method is equal to post, let's get the username. So the username is going to be request.form.get username. Let's get the password that the user put. This password is going to be request.form.get password. Now we're actually going to be making a variable where it's going to put the user that the user is trying to log into and get it from the database. So we can do user is going to be user hold on one second. It's going to be user dot query dot filter by username is going to be username dot first. This is about the same, this is the same that we did right here. We're just checking if the user is in the database. So now let's actually set up some checks. So we can do if the user, meaning if the user actually exists in the database, and check password hash user.password comma password. So we're just checking if the user dot password, which is right here, so the user from the database and their password and the password that the user inputted, if they match, then we're going to log in the user. We're going to log in this user right here, and we are going to we are going to flash log in successfully. I might have spelled that wrong. And then we're going to redirect them to URL. Oh yeah, we're going to return a redirect URL to the home page, which is right here. Alright. Else, we're just going to flash error logging in. Make sure your credentials are correct, and we're just going to return redirect to the login page. URL 4 to the login page. Nice. Now let's actually test if this works. Let's refresh the page. No, whoops. Let's refresh the page. For the username, I'll just put the one that I put before when we created our account. And if we click login, yes, it takes us to the home page. And now if we actually try to go to the home page, it's gonna take us to the home page and not the register or the login page because we're logged in. Now, in the home page, let's actually add a button that will log us out. So in the home page, let's say, okay, yeah, actually in the home page, let's put a welcome, comma, and then the user's username. To do that, it's pretty simple. All we have to do is go to our route for home, and let's make a variable. Let's call this a user. It's gonna be user.query.get current user.id. The current user, we got this from the Flask login right here, and we're basically getting the current ID of the user. And now we can, in the return template, let's also pass the user. So user is going to be equal to user. So if we go to the home page, and if we say welcome, comma, and then the two curly brackets, and we do the username, it gives us an error. Hold on. So oh yeah, it's simple. We just have to do user.username. Nice. See, it says Samir. So let's actually go to the login page, or the register page actually, and let's just make another account. Let's call this Billy Bob Joe, and the password, I'll just choose a password. Now if we log into Billy Bob Joe, the password, if we click login, it says welcome Billy Bob Joe. Nice, it's working. Now let's just add a button. So for this, let's make an a tag, and the href, let's put this URL 4 to log out, and let's actually make a logout route right here. So we'll do app.route/logout. Hold on. Yeah, so we'll do app.route/logout, and we'll put the methods is equal to get and post def function logout, return a render template of logout actually we don't need to do that. We can just return a redirect to URL for login, because after we log out, we want to be redirected to the login page so the user can log in again if they want. But after we go to this route, we can just log out the user, and we can flash saying log out successfully. Please come back again. Please come back. Nice. So yeah, now let's just yeah, the href is gonna be to the logout, which is right here, so it'll log us out. And in here, let's add a button. Let's just say log out, or yeah, log out. Alright, nice. We refresh. If you click log out, it's gonna log us out. Let's refresh again. Let's log into my name. That's the wrong username. That's wrong. Hold on. Alright. Welcome. It says my name, and I can log out. But let's say I choose a different, or like a wrong username. Actually, let's choose a username that's not in the database. So let's just do Bob, since he's not in the database yet, and let's just put random password. If you click login, error logging in, make sure your credentials are correct. Yeah, so if we put the right username this time and the right passcode, click login, it'll log us in. Alright, perfect. So our app is working perfectly fine. Now, if you want the source code for this, you can find this in the description, where I will put a GitHub a GitHub repository link for this code right here. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment, and also let me know what other video I should make next. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.